Hey guys, Ted here from Mod Rules. So I was putting together some Immortals earlier today, uh, and the neat thing about that kit is that I shouldn't say the neat, but as far as reviews go, one of the cool things about that kit is that it takes a million of them. Well, okay, not a million of them. It takes at least 10, but the Immortal kit comes with five. So if you place an order, you need two to start, and then you go in units of five. So as I put together my first five, I was like, man, all right, let's do up another unboxing or unbagging. So here we have the Immortals. Oh, so I was really kind of holding back on these guys. I mean, their shields are cool, but I just wasn't sure about like how I don't know, like how they'd play out. Like, a 6+ invulnerable save that comes a 5+ in hand to hand. I don't know. I'm not. I wasn't too sold on it. I want some nice shooting and all these other things, but the more I thought about it, with like all the Terminators and all that other jazz that I end up fighting against, like hand to hand happens. It just straight up happens. And I started looking at the points, and I was like, they have like a harsh upfront cost, but if you're going to go with a 20-man squad, you may as well get them instead of regular breachers because it's ultimately going to cost you less, and you're going to have like a much superior model, like Field of Pain, like all this other jazz. So I bid it, and like when I first was starting to think about some heresy, I was like, I don't know, man. Like I like 40k, I love 40k. Let's just stick with stuff I could use in 40k. If I can use it in heresy, awesome. If I can, double dip, but this is straight up biting into the heresy. So man, let's bust into it. So, so let's go ahead and first off, we're going to pretend that I don't have these models sitting over here already completed. All right, let's just pretend I don't have those. Like this is like the very first time. So as you can see, as I'm opening this transparent bag, I have no idea what's inside. All right. So you're probably not buying that lie, right? All right. So the first thing we see some shields, and man, I gotta say, like these things are beefcakes. I mean, I love it. They're ginormous. It's a big slab, like they're super cool. Like the detail, I love the hands. They're just dope. Like they're really cool. They got this kind of fun optic piece. And this is kind of neat because like you see like a riot shield or whatever, and like there's this like slat or something like that. But this is the future, man. So instead we have monitors on our shields. So it's like we're in the sci-fi. Like that's how you would do things if you're gonna have a big riot shield, right? And of course Manus, bam, smackadicious. So yeah, the shields are cool. Of course, 5 of them for 5 guys. Backpack, standard issue. If you got some Mark III Marines, you have a million of these. So we got 5 of those. Weapon sprue. All right, so here we have las cutter. Oops, las cutter, and I believe, oh god, the graviton gun. I'm kind of jazzed about that. I'm not super stoked on Immortals having them. I'm kind of digging the graviton because I'm thinking like, I'm not graviton, the las cutter. The graviton is a heavy weapon. It's pretty dope. I do want a bunch of these, but I think it needs to be on something relentless. Or if you're just going to be sitting there, like that's fine. Like get a whole ton of these guys. And of course we have the plated shoulder pads, 2 of them. The head is pretty dope. Unfortunately, I think that it would have been nice if they had multiple head options. Because I think that like you have, if you have, you're buying 2 sets of these, you're gonna have 2 guys running around with this identical head with the identical eye and cybernetics. So I'm like, I don't know, I'm not super stoked on that, but whatevs. And then I think this is a breacher charge. I'm not too sure. I kind of asked around, and it looks like it might be a breacher charge. Either that or a meat tenderizer. I figure if they need to make some emergency meatloaf for a potluck, Iron Hands are all about potlucks. Then they have this meat tenderizer. So we're trying to figure out. I'd ask some people like where they think it goes, and we're not entirely certain. we're thinking that you could probably stick it on their belt, or like one guy was saying on the belt. I was thinking maybe on their shield, although I can't really figure out how to put it on the shield, but I might just put it on there anyway. But I think that'd be pretty awesome. Like you have a big charge, it's like, on the back of your shield, and then you just, run forward and unleash it, boom, right up in people's gristle. I haven't used the breacher charge, but it sounds really cool. Although with the way I roll, chances are I'm going to have it like hit me instead. That would be, what is it? Not the bueno. All right, so then we have some of the arms that go on that hold the shields. These were kind of cool because I think they slotted the shields pretty well. I think they had like that little peggy bit, and then it kind of just sits in there nicely. I mean, it's not like much of a friction bond, but when I was putting the guys, like trying to figure out where their guns would go, I was able to just like set these in there, and they were able to kind of just hold just with like a mild friction. But you're not going to play a game like that. They're going to fall off the moment you breathe on them. So you will need to glue them or magnetize them or do something like that. I don't know why you'd magnetize them, but maybe in the future they'll have immortals without shields, and instead they'll have daisies, because it'll be I don't know. I don't know why you'd have daisies. All right, first thing that came to mind. Let's see. So then we have the other arms. Now, okay, so one of the things, I love these, dude. Like the bionics are sick. I mean, I've always loved the GW bionics anyway. Like, I try to make some stuff out of plastic card, plastic tube, but the GW stuff is just superior. Some of these are kind of weird. I think this hand right here, you have like the upturned wrist. I did have a hard time putting a... no, actually, it was this one right here. I did have a little bit of a hard time getting the bolter to set in there. And I ended up like cocking it a little bit out a bit. Actually, I'll show you right here. So it's a little bit problematic. It doesn't line up. Like the bolter should go the other direction, kind of that way, but it doesn't seem to do that so well. So I'm not happy with that arm design. Maybe it is supposed to, maybe the back of the bolter is supposed to stick out the back, or maybe this arm is just designed for a special weapon. Either way, I'm not stoked on it. But it's cool. Like, I love the bionics. The bionics are dope. It's just, you'll just have to play with it. Let's see, what else? So, yeah, so the arms are cool. Now, I did notice that, like, they've been doing these dot things. Like, I don't know if you ever really looked at, like, orc arms or some other, like, oh gosh, who are some others that have it? Dark Eldar, maybe? But there'll be like some similarity that kind of denotes like which set goes with which. So you have like this gun arm corresponds with, let's see, this shield arm. So you have like the 4 dots, 4. So they do have to marry up, just to kind of set right. And that's, that's okay. For me, I like a little bit more, customizing. So I would like to have some more options, I guess. For their arms. So there are just like 5 gun arms, 5 shield arms, and that's all you have. So, like your creativity is going to be up to your ability to model, which, I guess that's fine. Some people can do it, some people can't. And I think like one of the things that I think is kind of weird is that some of these have their pegs. So there's like this mild peg right in there. So there are 2 of those. And then there's 2 of your standard, or 3 of your standard, so there's the pegs, and there's 3 of your standard arms that would glue onto any old Space Marine torso. So you just have to be like aware like of what you're doing. And it's just a little bizarre, but whatever. I don't exactly know why they ended up doing that, but what else? Okay, so that was the arms. But I do like, I love the design that they had with these shoulder pads. Like, I love all the tubes. Unfortunately, it's the exact same shoulder pad, and they just replicated it over and over. It's like the same tube coming out of the same spot, going into the same spot. So it is the same one. And if you're excited about customization, they got a little sloppy there, but they look dope. And chances are, like you're going to be the only one that's going to notice that, that tube goes into that spot 20 times. Bolters, I think bolters, they're all the same. It's the Mark II bolter, or Mark III rather. Maybe it's Mark II as well. So going into the guys. the guys are super crazy cool. Like the detail, I love that. Here's a bionic leg, and he had to take his thigh pad and extend it forward a bit, so this thing is like hulking out a little bit. Whereas like here it fits snugly in there, so it's kind of letting you know like, hey man, he's trying to emulate his buddies, he's trying to have the same armor, but ultimately he's got some crazy stuff going on there and it doesn't quite fit. So like here's another example where they kind of did that, and there's some wires hanging down there. I have to say, like Iron Hands, they're tinkers, as I've said before, but like their craftsmanship is not so great. It kind of reminds me of my dad. Amazing mechanic, but craftsmanship is anyway. But anyway, I love all the little details. Like it's all, here's bolter clips and pistols. Like these guys are ready. Like they're gonna be hunkered down in there for a while, so they're all set. Then once again, you have like the dots that correspond with the arms, so everything is kind of set. And this is kind of, I think, like one of the drawbacks is like there really isn't a whole lot of customization. It's not your plastic marine where you just have all the options, all the head options, all the arm options, all da 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 da. Like we're kind of harkening back to like fantasy or something like that, where like this guy is gonna have the same arms. You have an option of a different shield, but other than that, it's just like 4 of this guy in your 20-man squad with a different shield each time, and that's about it, unless you start customizing. So it's up to you. Like, do you want to carve into that resin and make it special? So that's that. The other guys, it's more the same, but I just want to point out that the head is a little different on your sergeant. So unfortunately, like I was saying, there's only 5 heads. There's 4 that are grafted onto the guys, and then there's this one right here, and that's the helmetless head. And as cool as it is, you're gonna have 5 or 4 of those sitting in your 20-man squad. So I'm gonna go ahead and like grab one of the other Mark II head or Mark III heads and stick it in there. I'm probably gonna put some glue or some putty and maybe throw some cables going in there just to add a little spice to it. But unfortunately, like that's what you're gonna have to do just to make your sergeant look special. But anyway, so I think like the head on the sergeant, you are going to have to figure something out. And so with my sergeant, there aren't a lot of options. So I did go and grab a Tartaros Terminator Power Fist. I did want a Thunderhammer, but I didn't want to go and buy some Terminators or anything like that. It was kind of like, oh crud, I need to do this fast. And Power Fists are cheap, so I'm going to do that. That's going to be my sergeant, and I'll probably use that helmetless head or figure something else out. But anyway, so we'll just cover these guys. Once again, I mean, it's all like it's almost a unipose. Like you have like left foot forward, right foot back, just slight variations with the head. So I still love the sculpt on these models. Like they're still really cool. Like you still have like these great details. The bionics are awesome. I love all the tubes. It's really inspiring me to like do some of this kind of stuff with plastic art on my plastic guys. So this is neat. Like I am really inspired to go back and hobby some more. So that's about it. They're great figures. Oh yeah, one other thing I want to talk about. They do have the smaller bases. Like so far they haven't given them the 32s. Maybe I just wasn't lucky enough to get like the newer versions, but I think you are looking at like a lot of these guys like are pre 32 millimeter bases. Maybe when they sell all their back stock out, they'll start putting the 32s in it. So we got the 28s, but that's okay. Like they do sell the new 32s in bulk. So whatever. That's the Immortals. I think they're really cool. Not a lot of customization, but hopefully it inspires you to do some of your own. All right, that's it. Thanks a lot, guys. We're going to go over some, I think probably the Spartan. I know you've all seen the Spartan, but we're going to just do a review of it in the future. I got a lot more things coming on. So thanks a lot, guys. Take care.